Uh, Welcome, students. Welcome to my class on business research methods. And today we are going to discuss about the different types of data collection. You are aware about what is meant by data. Data is a raw fact, and data, when interpreted, gives a meaningful information. And in the previous classes, we discussed about primary data and the types of primary data, in which we discussed about the different types of observation. And today we are going to discuss about interview method. An interview is nothing but it could be structured or unstructured depending upon whether a formal questionnaire has been formulated and the questions asked in a pre-arranged order or not. An interview could be either direct or indirect as a result of whether the purpose of the questions asked are plainly stated or intentionally disguised. And the main purpose of this interview is to gather data extensively and intensively. The objective of the interviewee are twofold: to exchange ideas and experience and to elicit information. And there are different types of interview: structured, direct. In structured direct, it is a usual type of interview conducted during a consumer survey to obtain the descriptive information of using a formal questionnaire consisting of non-disguised questions. A questionnaire designed to get the actual fact from the respondent. For example, if the marketing research manager of a television set manufacturer wants to find out how many and what kinds of people prefer various styles of television cabinets, he may have a set of questions to ask these facts directly. Okay, the resulting interviews will be structured direct in nature. Unstructured direct interview. It is here the interviewer is given only general instructions on the type of information desired. He is left to ask the necessary direct questions to obtain this information using the wording and the order that seems most appropriate in the context of each interview. These interviews are useful in obtaining a clearer understanding of the problem and determining what areas should be investigated. The next type of interview is structured indirect. It is an interview where the questions are pre-decided and arranged in a structured way. However, the purpose of the study is not revealed. The next one is unstructured indirect. In this case, the questions aren't pre-decided and neither the purpose of the study is known explicitly. That is called as unstructured indirect. The next one is focus group. Perhaps the best and the most widely used type of indirect interview is focus group interview. It is one in which a group of people jointly participate in an unstructured indirect interview. And the group is selected purposively to include a person who have a common background or similar buying or have an experience that relates to the problem to be researched. So that is called as focus group. Third person technique. The simplest way of obtaining information through indirect questioning of a respondent is to ask for the view of a neighbor or some other person whose views on the subject might be reasonably be known. This permits the respondent to project his views with no feeling of social pressure to give an acceptable answer. The next one is depth interview. There is a substantial use of an unstructured, informal interview in order to find out the underlying predispositions, needs, desires, feelings, and emotions of the consumer towards the products and services. And so this method of interviewing is called as depth interview. The depth interview in marketing research may consist of either direct questions or indirect questions, or a combination of these two. The next one is personal interview. As the name itself implies, the personal interview consists of an interviewer asking questions to the respondent in a face to face situation. The interviewer's role is to get in touch with the respondents, ask the questions, and to record the answers. Telephone interview. Telephone interviews are sometimes used in lieu of personal interviews, especially when the information must be collected quickly and inexpensively, and the amount of information required is limited. The telephone interview is well suited to such research problems as determining coincidental viewing of television or listening to radio programs. The next one is schedule. Schedule is nothing but a tool used to collect data from the respondent while interview is conducted. Schedule contains questions or statements, and blank spaces are left for filling up by the respondents. The main purpose of the schedule is threefold. First one, to provide a standardized tool for observation. Second, to act as a memory tickler. And third one is to facilitate the work of tabulation and analysis. Actually, an enumerator will be appointed to meet the respondents. An enumerator will be given due training and he will be sent to meet the respondents. So he meet the respondents on behalf of the interviewer and collects the data. Data are collected by the schedules by enumerators on the basis of the replies given by the respondents. There are different kinds of schedules: rating schedule, document schedule, survey schedule, observational schedule, and interview schedule. Rating schedule is a schedule used to obtain the opinion, the preferences of the respondents. And this schedule consists of positive as well as negative statements. Document schedules are used to collect data from the recorded evidences or case histories. Survey schedules are like questionnaires. Observational schedules are schedules used when observational method of data collection is used. And these could be structured or unstructured. The next one is interview schedules. They are used for collecting data when interview method of communication with the respondents is used. The next one is questionnaire. A questionnaire is a form of prepared and distributed to the respondents to secure responses to certain questions. It is a device for securing answers to questions by using a form which the respondent fills by himself. It is a systematic compilation of questions that are submitted to a sample drawn from the population from which the information is desired. It is an important instrument being used to gather information from widely used scattered sources. And today, getting data collected from a questionnaire is very easy because people, they prepare Google forms and they send it to the respondents through mail or through known people, and they get the required data. Types of questionnaire. There are about four types of questionnaires are there: structured, unstructured, open-ended, closed-ended. fact and opinion, pictorial and verbal. The structured question is concrete and direct, whereas a non-structured questionnaire may consist of partially completed questions or statements. The interviewer possesses only a blueprint of the inquiries, and he is largely free to arrange the form or statements of the questions, open ended and closed ended. The questions that call for short responses are known as closed form. This provides for making an yes or no, a short response, or checking an item from a list of given responses. It restricts the choice of response for the respondent. He has to simply select a response out of the options given to him. It is easy to fill out, it takes less time, keeps the respondent on the subject, more acceptable, and fairly easy to tabulate and analyze. Open ended is where the respondent is free to answer. The respondent frames and supplies his own response. No clues are provided. It probably provides for greater depth of response. This type of response is sometimes very difficult to interpret, tabulate, and summarize in the research report. Fact and open opinion questionnaire. Questionnaire are also classified as questionnaire of fact, whether it requires certain information or facts from the respondent without any reference to his opinion or attitude about them. Questionnaire of opinion is where it tells the attitude in which the informant's opinion, his attitude, his preference regarding some phenomena is sought. Pictorial and verbal. In the pictorial questionnaire, pictures are used to promote interest in answering the questions. It is used extensively in studies of social attitudes and prejudices in children or illiterate persons. This questionnaire may be very useful for collecting data in a developing country like India, especially from the rural masses who are mostly literate and less knowledgeable. In the questionnaire technique, greater reliance is placed on the respondent's verbal report for data on stimulus, experiences in which he is exposed, and for knowledge of his behavior. The questionnaire is effective only when the respondent is willing to answer. A good questionnaire can elicit cooperation of the respondent to get frank answers on almost any subject. So it is clear that the respondent can judge the study only by what he can see. So verbal questionnaire is one where he uses words. He uses statements in which the respondents are asked to answer. Process of a questionnaire technique. It involves designing, issuing, returning. While designing, attention should be paid to three important matters: the appearance of the questionnaire, the content of the questionnaire, and the subject matter. Most important is the pre-testing. The most important aspects of questionnaire is pre-testing. Now, what is pre-testing? Pre-testing is a method where the accuracy of the questionnaire is tested. Before going in for data collection, the interviewer makes a pre-testing of his study, where the questionnaire is given to a few samples of which the validity, the reliability, the practicability of the questionnaire is sought before it is given for data collection. Pilot study. It is a kind of how you are going to conduct the field of study. The administration of the tool on the sample respondents is thus rehearsed. It is done on a small sample of the chosen population. Thank you.